Hello, it's 3:30 again. I'm Terry Clyde, your life coach. I was working on some things earlier today that I thought that I would share with you. And I wanted to give you some things that you could use that would be practical information and practical advice for you. A lot of us right now during the COVID-19 and the changes that we've had to make here, along with a lot of other things, this time of year a lot of people are graduated from high school, now they're starting college, or they've graduated middle school, about to start high school. Some are, as one lady talked to me this morning, graduating from one relationship to another. A lot of us are making transitions. I'm working with some organizations right now that are in the transitional stages, changing themselves from being who they were to who they need to be. And I want to give you a challenge today that will be a practical thing that you can work on some in the next couple of days that will help you prepare for what you're going to be doing and who you are going to be next year. The exercise that I would encourage you to do, I would call it 1 year from now, or your YFN plan. Year from now, what would you like to be able to tell people that you did this year? Now, for a lot of us, we don't necessarily want to have to tell people that we're a year older, so we're not wanting to share that age thing with them a year from now. But what event would you like to share with them? I've actually got 3 that really are on my personal list, listed up here behind me. Now, I usually keep mine written in a marker on one of the walls or one of the boards in my room. Actually, believe it or not, I actually do write on the walls in my office because they can wipe off with a cloth if they're dry erase markers. That's the kind of person I am. I just plan a lot. So I've got mine written in handwriting, and I tried to do it on this little whiteboard behind me, but you know what? With the angle that was there, you would not have been able to read it. So I decided to take the easy way out for your eyes and for the teaching mechanism and just put 3 of them up here that I printed on my computer. One of them is a personal thing. By this time next year, I want to be able to tell you that I bought a new car. Now, it probably won't be new, although that would be great. But I'm going to need another transportation, so I'm going to get another car within the next year. That's an extreme personal thing. Now, in my family, one of the goals that I have is by this time next year, I want to be able to tell you that I went fishing with my grandson at least 3 times. Now, my grandson is 3. And when we go, I've taken him to the pond. We've gone out in the boat, but he's more interested in rowing the boat and watching how Pop's doing things than he is about actual fishing. So it's going to take a little bit of work to get him into the idea of fishing, and then for us to be able to find time because he does not live in the same town that I do. And then we're going to have to get the place cleaned up, so I'm working on those. Another thing is professionally, business-wise, next year about this time, I want to be able to tell you that I have trained 12 life coaches. Now, the reason that I've got these up here in the different categories is one of them is personal, one of them is family, and one of them is professional. These are different areas of my life. Now, these are not the only things that I have on my list that I want to be able to tell you a year from now that I've done. I actually have a long list of things that I hope to accomplish in the next 12 months. But one of the things that I want to encourage you to do with your list is to say what you want to do and then put a time next to it for when you will begin. Like this, bought a new car. I've actually done a little research and saved a little money already, so I can put now right here for when I started. And a year from now, I plan to have it finished. Now, went fishing with my grandson 3 times. Okay, I've taken him to the boat. We've talked about fishing. So this one, actually going fishing with him, I'm going to have to start that one within the next month. Okay, so I'm going to write over here by October. So by October, I want to have begun this process, not finished it now. Remember, this is my year from now list. So my year from now list, I want to have gone fishing with my grandson 3 times. But by the 1st of October, I want to have planted the idea in his mind, cleaned up a place where we can do it, and by October, I want to have begun the possibility of being able to do that. You see how it works? So in each one of these things, there's something that we want the end goal to happen a year from now. And working back from that, when am I going to work on it? Now, be real with yourself. You know, and I know, that if you want to do something a year from now and you just wait for it to happen without any planning, it's not going to happen, except for that thing we talked about, about the birthday. A year from now, you'll be a year older. Not much you can do about that. A year from now, you may have gone fishing with your grandson, or you may have had your first child, or changed relationship, whatever it is. But you have to set a starting date to ensure yourself of reaching that accomplishment date. Now, each one of these things, once I've accomplished them, I will have already begun something that would give me another year from then. Like every month, I revamp my thinking of the things that I want to do in the next 12 months so that I'm always planning 12 months ahead. A lot of people make the mistake of saying, okay, this is my 1 year plan, and they don't do anything else until the end of that year, and they don't have an ongoing plan. Did you know that's what happens to a lot of marriages? A husband and wife will get married. They'll have a plan. We want to do this. They're all excited. They meet that goal, but they didn't have a goal past that. And the goal was the main thing they had in common. So they'll get 5 years in, 10 years in, sometimes 15 years in. They meet their goal. They've got nothing else in common, and they split up. It's important to keep a goal ahead of you, way down the line. And these are short-term goals. A year, I would say, is a relatively short-term goal. But you have a starting point for when you're going to be working on that. So for me to work on my car, I'm saving some money. I'm looking at the kinds I want. I actually have talked to somebody about, is this a good kind? What do you think? Not ready to buy now. So if you're a car salesman, you're watching this, don't call me now. You may want to put on your calendar, or call me by October maybe, but I can't help you right now. But I'm planning, I'm thinking, I'm working on it. I'm cleaning out a spot at the pond for Sam and me to go fishing. For the life coaching, I've already started working on that, okay? That's a now thing. I'm already promoting. I've already got my curriculum in place. I've already got some people signed up. I'm working on this. So, but these are my starting points. A year from now will be my success point, my achievement point. But in between, I've got to keep making plans. I've got to keep taking steps. Now, I want to tell you, write this down somewhere if you don't already have it in your mind. The first step is always the hardest step. If you're writing a paper for school, the first paragraph is the hardest, and the first word is the hardest there. If you're saving money, the first dollar is the hardest one to save. If you're working on cooking something, it's getting the ingredients. That first step, that's the hardest part. Once you get the first part done, the other parts will begin to build on that. So, if there are things that you want to do a year from now, get started on them now. Write down, this is what I want to do a year from now, and then begin to map back from that. And when will you get started on it? And you may be one of those who says, a year from now, I want to complete step 10 of this project that I've already got 3 steps done. That's great. Write it down. Yes, absolutely. Keep track of it. Get you some accountability. Get somebody to watch these things for you. For each one of the things that are up here, I actually have people that are watching, holding me accountable for it, and that are helping me work toward those goals. For each one of these, somebody is holding me accountable, and somebody a year from now is going to say, yay, you made it, or hey, dude, what happened? So I want to encourage you to start your year from now list. Your achievement goal, your success goal, whatever you want to call it, and then set you a start day and start by that day. You can make a huge difference in this world. There's no telling what you can accomplish in a year. You won't accomplish anything if you don't start. But hey, you know what I'm about to say? You can do it because I believe in you all the way for the whole year. You can do it. Just get started.